The air inside the alien bar was heavy and strange. It smelled like engine oil, hot metal, and something sweet that burned the nose. Music came from a machine in the corner, low and slow, made of deep beats that could be felt through the floor. Neon lights blinked blue and red across a crowd of species that looked nothing alike. Some had scales. Some had fur. Some had too many eyes. But all of them stopped talking when the door opened with a hiss. A shadow filled the doorway. It was tall, taller than any being inside. The alien ducked under the frame, its armor clinking as it moved. Its skin was dark gray, its eyes glowing like fire through the helmet. A low hum followed every step it took. No one needed to ask who it was. They already knew. Grak Thorn, bounty hunter from the Zoth system, known for never missing his mark. His blade could slice through ship hulls. His strength could bend metal. And tonight his target was sitting quietly at the far end of the counter. The target's name was Eli Ward. A human. Cargo pilot, known by some for moving goods across the galaxy, known by others for trouble following him wherever he went. He sat there wearing a dusty flight jacket and an old cap with the word Earth stitched across the front. One arm rested on the bar. The other held a glass half full of a glowing blue drink. Eli did not look like a fighter. His face was tired, his eyes half closed. His hands were rough but still calm. Around him, aliens shifted, watching carefully. They had seen this story before. A bounty hunter walks in. A human stays too long. It always ends messy. Grak stopped behind Eli. The floor creaked under his weight. The hum of his energy blade echoed like thunder waiting to strike. Eli Ward, he growled, his voice like grinding metal. By order of the guild, your bounty is claimed. Stand up. Eli didn't move. He took a slow sip from his drink. The blue liquid caught the light as he swirled it. Then he set the glass down and sighed. Do I get to finish my drink first? He asked softly. His voice was calm, too calm. The alien laughed. You humans think you get to choose? Eli turned on his stool, meeting the red glow of Grak's eyes. The bar went quiet enough to hear the hum of the neon sign outside. I just like to end things properly, he said. That's all. The bartender, a thin insectoid creature with trembling claws, whispered. Don't do it, human. Not here. Eli didn't answer. His gaze stayed on Grak, slow and steady. His body didn't tense, didn't shake. The alien's hand moved to his hip. With a loud snap, the energy blade came alive. Blue plasma stretched into shape with a high-pitched hum that filled the room. Several aliens stepped back. A few ran out the door. Grak grinned behind his mask. This will be quick. Eli reached behind the counter, not for a weapon but for a bottle. Tall, green, half empty. He held it by the neck, weighing it in his hand. We'll see, he said quietly. The alien tilted his head. A bottle? You mock me? Eli smiled, but it wasn't friendly. It was the kind of smile that came before a storm. You got a sword, he said. I got a drink. Fair enough. The alien's laughter shook the glasses on the counter. You humans never learn. Eli shrugged. Oh, we learn, he said. We just don't always care. The blade hummed louder. Grak took one step closer. The light from his weapon cast long shadows across Eli's face. For a moment, nothing moved. Eli's fingers tightened on the bottle. He could feel the chill of the glass and the faint vibration of the alien's weapon through the air. His mind was clear, too clear. He wasn't thinking about fighting. He was thinking about home. About the old bars back on Earth where fights started for less. He thought about how humans always made a weapon out of whatever they could grab. Grak spoke again, his tone thick with contempt. You humans are weak. You fight with toys. You die easily. Eli looked up. Maybe, he said. But we never stay down. The alien roared and swung the blade. The sound tore through the air like lightning. Eli moved faster than anyone expected. He leaned back just as the blade sliced through the counter, sending sparks and smoke into the air. The top of his drink glass split clean in half. The room filled with shouts. Chairs scraped. The bartender screamed. Eli stood up slowly, eyes locked on the alien. He lifted the bottle, spun it once in his hand and smashed it against the bar's metal edge. The glass broke clean, leaving jagged teeth at the end. He raised it, glowing shards reflecting in the neon light. Now it's fair, he said. No one spoke. Even the music stopped. The alien's armor plates shifted as he prepared to strike again. Eli took one step forward, his boots crunching glass. He didn't look scared. He looked alive. And for the first time, the alien hesitated. Maybe it was the human's calm. Maybe it was the way he stood. Small but certain, wounded but ready. Whatever it was, something in the air changed. Then Eli spoke one last time before the chaos began. "You're not the first thing to point a weapon at me," he said. "And you won't be the last." The blade hummed brighter. The bottle gleamed sharper. The fight had not begun yet. But everyone in that bar already knew one thing. This wasn't going to be quick. The hum of the energy blade filled the air like a living sound, sharp and dangerous. Every being inside the bar froze. The blue light from the weapon reflected off the glass walls and metal counter, painting everything in cold color. Eli Ward stood still, his broken bottle glinting faintly in the same light. His face was calm, almost bored, as if he had seen this kind of thing too many times before. Thorne tilted his head, his armor hissing with steam from the joints. "You cannot be serious, human," he said. His voice was thick with laughter and threat at once. "You think that bottle will save you?" Eli didn't blink. "No," he said. "I think it'll hurt." A few brave aliens stayed to watch, hiding behind tables. The bartender ducked low, whispering, "Please, just walk away, human. He kills for fun." Eli didn't even turn. "So do we," he said softly, tapping the glass on the counter. "Only difference is we drink first," the crowd whispered among themselves. The word human carried a mix of fear and curiosity. Many had heard the stories. Small, soft creatures who built giant ships, who fought wars with sticks and stones, who kept laughing when they should have run. Grack pointed the blade at Eli. "You talk too much." Eli smiled. "I've been told that before." The alien stepped forward, the blade humming louder. The sound vibrated through the floor. "You have 10 seconds, Grack growled. "Drop the bottle and come quietly." Eli twirled the broken glass in his hand, looking at the glowing edges. 10 seconds, he said. "That's 9 too many." A ripple of laughter came from the corner. A reptilian gambler whispered, "The human's crazy." Another answered, "No, he's just human." Grack moved fast. His blade swung low, cutting through the air. Eli ducked under it. The tip sliced the sleeve of his jacket, leaving a trail of smoke. He rolled aside, came up on one knee, and smiled again. "You missed," he said. The alien roared, striking again. The blade tore through a table, splitting it in half. Sparks flew. Eli stepped backward, holding the bottle like a knife. The crowd gasped every time the blue light flashed near him. But Eli didn't back down. He waited, patient, watching the rhythm of each swing. Then when the alien lifted the blade for a third strike, Eli moved forward, fast, too fast for most eyes to see. He smashed the bottle across the alien's arm. Glass shattered. The alien grunted, stepping back in surprise. It didn't hurt much, but it shocked him. "You touched me?" Grack shouted. His armor glowed where the bottle hit, leaving a faint crack in the coating. Eli shrugged. "Told you it'd hurt." Grack's anger burned hotter than the blade. "You are nothing but a bug under my foot." Eli's voice stayed calm. "Then step on me." The alien lunged again, the blade cutting through the counter. Bottles exploded in blue and green flames as strange liquids spilled and caught fire. The bar filled with smoke. The sprinklers failed to activate. Every spark turned into a tiny inferno. Through the haze, Eli's outline moved, small, steady, and fearless. "You ever fight in a bar before?" he asked, coughing once. Grack didn't answer. He swung wide. The blade smashed a metal beam. The impact sent a shockwave across the floor. Eli ducked, sliding under a falling table. His jacket tore more, his skin grazed by heat. He came up behind a broken chair and gripped its leg like a club. "Rule 1, he said, half to himself. "Never fight clean." The alien turned, sensors in his armor tracking motion through the smoke. He saw movement to his left and swung, but Eli wasn't there anymore. From the right side came a sudden crash. The chair leg hit the back of the alien's knee joint. Metal cracked. Grack stumbled forward. His balance shifted. The crowd gasped again. Eli backed away before the retaliation came. The alien's blade cut through the bar's sign, making the lights flicker. The sound of the weapon filled the space like thunder. Eli wiped sweat and dust from his face. His eyes stayed locked on his opponent. "You know what's funny?" he said. "Where I'm from, this is considered a slow night." The alien growled deep in his chest, furious. "You fight like a fool." Eli smiled again. "We call it improvising." He reached down and grabbed another bottle from the floor. He held it loosely, tapping it against his palm. The crowd, now completely drawn in, leaned closer. Every pair of eyes followed that motion. Grak's voice echoed in the smoke. When I'm done with you, I'll hang your bones on my ship. Eli's expression didn't change. You'll have to catch me first. The alien charged, a blur of light and metal. Eli sidestepped, smashing the second bottle on Grak's helmet. Cracks spread across the glass faceplate. The alien stumbled again, rage boiling in his every movement. You just scratched my armor, Grak shouted. Eli grinned. I'll get the rest later. The alien howled and slammed the blade into the floor, sending sparks across the room. The shockwave knocked over tables, broke glasses, and threw Eli back against the counter. His back hit hard. He slid down, groaning but still laughing. As the smoke thickened, he coughed, grabbed another bottle, this one unbroken, and poured a drink. Round 2, he said quietly, raising it toward the towering figure in the smoke. Grak's eyes burned red. You'll regret mocking me, human. Eli took a sip, wiped his mouth, and stood again. Maybe, he said. But not tonight. The blue light flared again. The alien roared. And this time everyone in the bar stayed to watch, because no one wanted to miss what came next. The fire alarm in the alien bar had long stopped trying. Smoke hung thick in the air, curling through the broken neon lights and cracked bottles. The glowing edge of the energy blade painted the chaos in electric blue, throwing shadows across the walls. Tables were overturned, glass covered the floor, and in the middle of it all, 2 figures faced each other like ancient warriors from 2 different worlds. Eli Ward stood with his boots planted firm, blood trickling down from a small cut near his ear. His jacket was half burned, his hand steady around another broken bottle. His chest rose and fell, but his eyes stayed cold. He was tired, not weak. Tired like someone who had fought 100 times and learned not to care about the odds anymore. Across from him, Grak Thorne adjusted his stance. His armor hissed as it repaired tiny fractures. The alien's red eyes burned with fury. He had fought hundreds before, mercenaries, soldiers, bounty scum, but none had mocked him with such calmness. The sound of the human's slow breathing made him angrier than any insult. Grak raised his energy blade. The hum deepened, shaking the walls. This ends now, little man, he growled. Eli smiled faintly, the kind of smile that said, try me. You said that 5 minutes ago, he replied. Without another word, Grak lunged forward. The blade slashed down in a wide arc that glowed like lightning. Eli dropped low, sliding across the slick floor, feeling the heat of plasma burn past his shoulder. He came up behind a fallen chair, kicked it into Grak's legs, and struck upward with the jagged bottle. The glass tore across armor plating. Sparks flew. Grak snarled in disbelief. Eli had actually left a mark, small but real. The alien swung again, but Eli rolled aside, letting the blade smash into the counter. Bottles exploded into colorful flames. The crowd screamed, but none dared run now. They were too deep in the story. The bartender ducked behind a crate, muttering prayers in 3 languages. 2 reptilian gamblers began taking bets, arguing about the human's chances. Grak turned, sweeping his weapon sideways. Eli leapt over a shattered table and grabbed a loose pipe from the wreckage. He tested its weight with one hand, then raised it like a sword. You can keep swinging that glow stick, he said, catching his breath. But I promise, this pipe hits harder. The alien laughed, the sound like thunder rolling through the metal walls. You amuse me, human. That will make your death enjoyable. Eli took a step forward. Then you'll die smiling too. Grak attacked again. His movements were faster now, fueled by rage. The blade moved in a blur, cutting through chairs, beams, and smoke. Eli blocked one strike with the pipe, metal shrieking as sparks burst between them. The force sent him stumbling back, but he didn't fall. He shifted his weight, ducked, and swung low, hitting Grak's shin armor. The alien grunted. The human was smaller, lighter, but fast. Too fast, Eli laughed between breaths. What's wrong? Can't keep up? Grak roared and slammed the hilt of his weapon into Eli's stomach. The human gasped, bending over. But even as pain shot through him, his hand shot upward, smashing the bottle into Grak's faceplate. The glass shattered. The sound echoed like a gunshot. The alien staggered back, blinded by sparks and liquid fire. Eli wiped his mouth, blood mixed with a grin. That's one for the bottles, he muttered. The alien steadied himself, wiping the burning fluid off his visor. He snarled, You dare mock a Zoth warrior? Eli shrugged. Not mocking, he said. Just keeping score. Grak swung again, wilder now. His attacks were powerful but unfocused. Each blow sent shockwaves across the room. Eli moved like smoke, dodging left, ducking right, keeping his steps small and sharp. He didn't try to overpower, he tried to survive. Every second he stayed alive made the alien angrier, and that was his plan. Grak finally overextended. His blade struck a steel column and stuck for half a second. It was enough. Eli moved in. One quick step, one clean strike. The pipe smashed into Grak's ribs. The alien howled, sparks and gas bursting from a broken vent. The human backed away, panting, watching carefully. "You're strong," Eli said, still catching his breath. "But strength's not everything." Grak tore the blade free and turned on him. "What else is there?" Eli smiled again, his eyes bright through the smoke. "Timing," he threw the pipe. It hit the ceiling light, shattering it. The room went dark except for the glow of the energy blade. Grak froze for a moment, sensors flickering. Eli moved through the shadows silently, picking up another bottle from the floor. The alien spun around, searching, his weapon lighting patches of broken furniture. Then came a sharp sound behind him, a crack of glass and bootsteps. He turned just in time to catch the bottom of a metal tray to the face. Eli's voice came low through the dark. "You really should have brought a friend," the alien roared, swinging wildly, cutting through air. Eli ducked under another strike and kicked the alien's leg again. Grak fell to one knee, roaring in fury. Eli stepped back, breathing hard, holding nothing but a half-cracked bottle. He looked around the wrecked bar, smoke rising, lights flickering, and said, "You know what I like about aliens? You all think we fight fair." He raised the bottle one last time, smashed it on the counter behind him, and pointed the jagged end at his enemy. Grak's blade hummed brighter, the wall shaking from its power. Eli just nodded once, ready again. The crowd leaned in closer. Someone whispered, "The human's not fighting to win. He's fighting to prove something." And they were right, because for Eli Ward, this wasn't about survival anymore. It was about reminding the galaxy why humans were never to be underestimated. The bar looked like a war zone, caught inside a storm of fire and broken glass. The ceiling lights flickered, painting the smoke in flashes of blue and red. Tables were flipped. The floor was slick with spilled drinks that burned when the sparks touched them. And the music system played random static like a dying machine. Somewhere in that chaos, Eli Ward still stood, small, bleeding, and grinning. Across from him, Grak Thorne rose again. His armor glowed with stress fractures, leaking faint light from under the plating. The energy blade in his hand hummed like an angry beast. The air shimmered around its heat. The bounty hunter's patience was gone, his pride wounded beyond reason. No one had ever made him look foolish in a fight. Eli wiped the blood from his lip with the back of his hand. "You're still standing," he said. "That's good. Means I can keep practicing." Grak's voice was a growl. "You speak too much." "Yeah," Eli said with a weak smile. "That's what my flight captain used to say," Grak charged. The first swing cut through a table, the second through a hanging light. Eli ducked low and rolled, his boots crunching over broken glass. He came up behind the counter, grabbing bottles at random and throwing them one after another. Each one exploded in fire when the blue blade sliced through it. The bar became an inferno. Flames danced across the walls, casting shadows that looked alive. The heat was suffocating, but the crowd didn't leave. Dozens of alien eyes glowed in the dim light, recording the fight on glowing wrist devices. Someone shouted, "50 credits on the human." Another yelled, "Make it 100 if he lives 5 more minutes." Eli ducked again as a chair flew past his head. The alien bounty hunter smashed through the counter like it was paper. Shards flew in all directions. Eli stumbled back, coughing through the smoke. "You done wrecking the place?" he shouted. Grak's response came with another roar. The alien swung the energy blade sideways. It hit a metal support beam, sending a blinding flash through the room. The force threw Eli off balance. He fell hard, the bottle flying out of his hand. Grak loomed over him. The blade's light reflected off the human's eyes. The alien's laughter was low and cruel. "This is how it ends," he said. "You die and I take your head for my collection." Eli groaned, rolling onto his knees. "You sure you can carry that many trophies?" Grak tilted his head. "Mockery again?" Eli looked up at him, breathless, eyes burning with something that wasn't fear. "No," he said. "Distraction." Before Grak could react, Eli grabbed the metal pipe from earlier, hidden under the counter debris, and swung it straight into the alien's knee joint. The sound was sickening, a crack of metal and bone. Grak howled, falling backward into a table. His energy blade hit the ground, slicing deep into the floor, stuck there for a second. Eli scrambled to his feet, gasping for air. He kicked the alien's helmet once for good measure. "Guess we're both making a mess tonight." he said, leaning on the pipe for balance. Grak pushed himself up, fury burning hotter than the fires around them. He slammed one fist into the wall, leaving a crater, then reached for his blade. It sputtered for a moment before coming alive again, humming low. The crowd roared louder. The bartender peeked from behind a smoking cabinet and shouted, "Get out! You're destroying everything!" Eli looked at him, still panting. "Yeah, I'll pay for the damages," he said. Then he turned back to Grak. "Assuming I live?" The alien lunged again. Eli barely dodged, the blade cutting through the corner of his jacket and grazing his ribs. Pain shot through him, but he bit it down. He swung the pipe again, hitting Grak's side with a hollow clang. Grak grabbed the pipe mid-swing, yanked it away, and threw it across the room. The weapon clattered somewhere behind the burning counter. Then he grabbed Eli by the throat and lifted him into the air. The human kicked and struggled, choking for breath. Grak's teeth flashed in the flickering light. "So fragile," he said. "So breakable." Eli managed to croak, "Yeah, but hard to shut up." He slammed his knee into the alien's wrist. Once. Twice. On the third strike, Grak's grip loosened. Eli dropped, hit the floor hard, and rolled away. He grabbed a broken stool leg and spun around just as the alien came again. The stool leg hit the alien's faceplate. The visor cracked open completely, revealing gray skin beneath and rows of sharp teeth. The alien hissed, the sound like steam escaping a vent. Eli stepped back, coughing. "Finally see who I'm talking to," he said. Grak bared his teeth. "You talk too much," Eli grinned weakly. "You keep saying that." "You might be right," the alien roared, and the fight exploded again. Tables shattered. Flames spread across the walls. The ceiling lights burst one by one. The entire bar shook under the weight of chaos. At one point, both fighters fell through the counter again. The alien's blade got stuck in the floor once more, sparks flying. Eli, on his knees, grabbed a metal tray, heated from the flames, and smashed it across Grak's head. The alien reeled backward, stunned. Eli stumbled away, chest heaving, eyes watering from smoke. He picked up another bottle, one of the few unbroken ones left, and stared at it for a second. Then he laughed softly. "You know," he said to himself, "this might actually be fun." He turned back toward Grak, who was already rising again, eyes blazing. The crowd screamed. The ceiling cracked. The fire alarms finally gave one weak buzz before dying, and as both figures faced each other once more in the heart of the burning bar, the galaxy's most unlikely fight was only getting started. The heat was rising fast, too fast for comfort. Fire danced across spilled liquor, licking the walls like hungry snakes. The alien bar that had once been full of laughter and music was now a battlefield of smoke, flame, and fury. In the center of it all stood Eli Ward, breathing hard, shirt torn, blood dripping down his arm, yet somehow still smiling. Across from him, Grak Thorne's armor glowed red from the heat. Cracks lined the surface like spiderwebs of molten light. The energy blade in his hand hissed louder with every breath he took, the plasma burning white-hot. The smell of scorched metal filled the air, sharp and bitter. Every movement made the crowd flinch. Around them, aliens hid behind broken tables, wide-eyed but unable to look away. Someone whispered, "The humans still standing." Another replied, "Not for long." But deep down, no one was sure anymore. Eli spat a mix of blood and ash onto the floor and pointed at Grak with the neck of a broken bottle. "Still think I'm fragile?" he said, his voice hoarse but steady. Grak's answer was a roar that shook the walls. He swung the blade in a wide arc. The sound was like thunder splitting the air. Eli ducked, sliding under the swing, feeling the rush of heat pass inches above his head. He rolled over shards of glass and came up on one knee, sweat pouring down his face. "Fast for your size," Grak growled, stalking closer. Eli grinned. "I work out." The alien lunged again. Eli jumped backward, landing near the wrecked counter. He grabbed a half-melted tray and flung it toward Grak's face. It clanged against the helmet with a flash of sparks. Grak barely flinched. The alien swung again, the blade cleaving through the counter. The impact sent a shockwave through the room, throwing bottles into the air. Liquor poured like rain and ignited in mid-fall. The explosion threw Eli backward into the wall. His vision blurred for a second, ears ringing. Grak loomed through the smoke, blade humming like a living thing. "You're persistent," he said. Eli coughed hard and pushed himself up. "You should see me after coffee." He grabbed a metal pipe from the floor, the same one he'd used earlier, and spun it once, testing its weight. The bar's flickering light reflected off its dented surface. The alien charged. Eli stepped sideways at the last second and slammed the pipe into Grak's shoulder. The blow echoed like a hammer striking steel. Sparks scattered again. The alien stumbled, more from surprise than pain. "You shouldn't have done that," Grak hissed. "Probably not," Eli said, already swinging again. The second hit connected with the side of Grak's head. The alien roared, spinning in fury, and slammed a massive fist into Eli's chest. The human flew backward into another table, shattering it to pieces. For a moment, Eli didn't move. The crowd held its breath. Then slowly he laughed, a dry, broken laugh that carried through the smoke. He pushed himself up again, blood on his chin, glass stuck to his jacket. "You hit like my drill instructor," he said. Grak's snarl deepened. He stomped forward, crushing debris under his boots. "You should have stayed on your little blue planet, human." Eli wiped his mouth, breathing hard. "Yeah, everyone keeps saying that." He stepped forward again. The alien met him halfway. The energy blade came down and the pipe met it mid-swing. The contact sent a shockwave across the bar. Metal screamed, and the blade's plasma hissed as if alive. Eli's hands burned from the heat, but he didn't let go. He kicked forward, slamming his boot into Grak's leg. The alien staggered, armor cracking further. Eli twisted, forcing the blade aside, then drove his knee into the alien's chest plate. The impact made a hollow thud. Grak swung his arm out, catching Eli across the face. The human stumbled but caught himself on the counter, spitting blood again. The flames roared higher now, filling the bar with orange light. The ceiling creaked. Alarm screamed, "Too late to matter." "Still standing?" Grak shouted over the chaos. Eli grinned, teeth bloody. "That's kind of our thing." He picked up another bottle, this one half full, and hurled it at the alien's feet. The bottle shattered, spilling its contents. Eli grabbed a lighter from the counter, a tiny thing with the logo of some forgotten Earth bar, and flicked it once. The fire caught instantly, rushing up around Grak's legs. The alien bellowed, thrashing as blue flame wrapped around his armor. He swung wildly, smashing through the nearest wall. The energy blade flared again, cutting a glowing line across the ceiling. Eli ducked low, grabbing his pipe again. "You like heat? Try this." He swung upward, slamming the pipe into the underside of the alien's jaw. The hit made a deep metallic crack. Grak reeled backward, crashing into a burning table. The energy blade slipped from his grip, still humming as it spun across the floor and stuck upright, embedded in metal. Eli stood over him, chest heaving. "You done?" he asked. The alien laughed weakly through the smoke. "Not even close," Eli sighed. "Didn't think so." He dropped the pipe, grabbed one last bottle, and sat down on a half-broken chair as the fire alarms wailed again. The flames painted everything gold and blue. "You know," he said, "this started because I just wanted a quiet drink." Grak rose slowly, smoke curling off his armor, eyes still glowing red. Eli looked at him, smiled faintly, and added, "Guess I picked the wrong bar." And as both of them faced each other again, surrounded by fire, the galaxy's wildest brawl entered its second round, and no one watching dared blink. The bar had become a skeleton of twisted metal and fire. The ceiling hung low from the damage, dripping melted wiring like vines. Smoke covered everything, turning the once bright lights into a dull red haze. Outside, alarms screamed across Station 9, but no one dared come inside. Everyone who was still there had decided to stay. No one wanted to miss how this story would end. In the center of the wreckage stood two figures. Grak Thorne's armor was cracked, glowing from the heat within. His breathing came out in harsh mechanical bursts. His energy blade, half flickering now, still hummed with fury. And across from him, Eli Ward stood barefoot. His boots had burned through, holding a bent metal pipe that glowed faintly at the edges. Eli looked like he should have been down hours ago. His face was cut, his jacket was gone, and blood had dried on his arm. But he stood tall. He even smiled. It wasn't confidence. It was something deeper, the look of someone who refused to fall until the universe itself told him to. Grak tilted his head, voice full of static. "You're not human," he rasped. "You're something else," Eli chuckled weakly. "That's what my ex said too," the alien growled, raising his blade high. "You should have died 10 minutes ago." Eli twirled the pipe once. "You've been trying hard enough." The hum of the weapon grew louder, filling the air like a storm about to break. Grak charged, his massive frame blurred through the smoke, blade cutting a line of blue fire across the ground. Eli ducked under the swing, slid between the alien's legs, and struck upward. The pipe connected with a sharp metallic clang, denting the armor plates around the reactor core on Grak's back. The alien spun, roaring, backhanding Eli across the face. The human hit the wall, leaving a smear of blood before sliding down. He coughed, tasting iron and ash. Grak stalked forward, blade raised again. "You fought well," he said, voice cold. "I will carve your name into my ship." Eli spat blood onto the floor. "Make sure you spell it right." The alien swung down. Eli rolled aside at the last instant. The blade cut deep into the floor, sparks bursting everywhere. The hum stuttered. The weapon had struck a power conduit. Electricity surged up through Grak's armor overloading systems. The alien screamed in rage and pain as sparks shot out of every joint. Eli crawled backward, clutching his side, thinking fast. He looked up, saw the energy blade still stuck in the floor, humming unevenly. That was his chance. He forced himself to stand, his body screaming in protest. "Hey, big guy," he called out. "You dropped your toy." Grak tore the blade free, turning on him, smoke rising from his armor. "You cannot win." Eli grinned through the blood. "That's the thing about humans. Winning's optional. We just don't stop." The alien lunged again, faster than before. Eli sidestepped, barely avoiding a vertical slash that split the wall behind him. The pipe in his hand shook with every heartbeat. His muscles burned. But he waited. One wrong move from Grak would end it. The next swing came high. Eli blocked, the pipe catching the edge of the blade for just a moment. Long enough. Sparks blinded them both. Eli kicked forward, slamming his boot into the alien's chest. Grak stumbled back a single step, but it was enough to throw his aim off. The blade hit the metal counter and ricocheted, slicing through a hanging fuel line. Liquid fire poured onto the ground. Eli didn't think. He just moved. He swung the pipe hard, striking Grak in the already cracked reactor panel on his back. The blow landed with a deep metallic crunch. The alien staggered forward. Eli struck again, and again. The third hit broke the seal. The reactor hissed, venting energy like escaping steam. Grak roared, turning to strike, but the blade faltered, its hum dying in his hands. The plasma sputtered, flickered, and vanished. The weapon was dead. Eli dropped the pipe, gasping for breath. "Looks like your fancy sword's out of juice." Grak's red eyes flared. "Then I'll tear you apart with my hands." He lunged, catching Eli by the throat again. The human kicked, punched, clawed. Nothing worked. The alien's grip tightened. The world blurred, but then Eli saw it. The broken energy blade still lying nearby, half glowing, its unstable core pulsing faintly. With the last bit of strength left in him, he reached down and grabbed the blade by the handle. It hissed, sparking violently, ready to explode. Eli looked the alien dead in the eyes and smiled. "Fair fight, remember?" He jammed the blade straight into the cracked reactor on Grak's chest. There was a flash, blinding, white, endless. The sound came a second later, a deafening shockwave that blew out the bar's walls. When the smoke finally cleared, the room was silent. The fire had burned itself out, leaving only embers and ash. The walls were scorched black. The ceiling sagged dangerously. And in the middle of the wreckage, Eli Ward lay on his back, staring up at what was left of the ceiling. His hair was singed, his hands blackened from the blast. Beside him, Grak Thorne's armor was split open, reactor dark. The alien was motionless. Eli coughed, wincing, then looked at the remains of the energy blade lying beside him, still humming faintly, like a dying heartbeat. He reached over, took it in his hand, and let out a tired laugh. "Guess it was fair after all," he whispered. He tried to sit up, failed, and just leaned back, watching the first rescue drones hover through the broken wall. Their lights washed over him, bright and cold. Someone outside shouted, "There's a survivor!" Eli raised the broken bottle still strapped to his belt and murmured, "Told you, I'd finish my drink." Then he closed his eyes as the world faded into sirens and the soft hum of machines.